to get the word out, to educate people, because Amway's not going to do it, and I doubt that other MLMs are going to do it, just because I think there's sort of a secret pact. Don't talk bad about your MLM brother. It's one of those things that once that starts, it would snowball, and then they would all have dirt all over themselves. So I think all of them just have this sort of either secret or just kind of understanding that don't criticize your competitor, because if they criticize you, then it's going to take the whole thing down, and they don't want that.
Yep.
Yeah. So another part of this video is kind of funny, because Tim Sales referred to this book that I guess Bill Gates wrote. I never heard of it before, but it was something about lying with statistics, and it just kind of humored me a couple of ways. Number one, he didn't apply that to the lack of retail sales as an example of lying with statistics and tool scams as well. But the other thing was, he kind of, the way he presented it was, oh yeah, I saw this on Bill Gates' desk or bookshelf or something, like he was buddies with Bill Gates, and maybe he knows him, I don't know. But he just made it look like, I rub shoulders with Bill Gates. I just thought that was kind of funny how he sort of introduced that book, and how you really can use statistics to lie, right?
Exactly, yeah.
There's no doubt. When you leave out certain information, like Amway's really good at, and other MLMs, you can easily give a different impression than if the whole picture were painted. So any comments on that one, Glenn?
Well, with the lying with statistics, it's like when someone's prospecting you and they say you can save 30% on the products. They sell it in a way where you can save 30% on what you would pay in a grocery shop, a normal supermarket. They don't say that you can only save 30% on specific products that are already overpriced.
Right.
You could get technical and say, oh, they're telling the truth because there is a 30% discount, but it's a 30% discount on only a handful of products that are probably 60 or 70 or 80% more expensive than what you'd get at a normal shop.
Yeah, and when the 30% discount is still more than you can pay at a store, is that really a discount? It is a discount for Amway, but it's not a discount compared to a retail store. So, it's easy to lie with words. Lawyers do it all the time. My favorite group of people. Peter knows that. He also said there's limited levels when you're getting paid in an MLM, and that's not really true, especially in the case of Amway. Now, as you get higher and higher in PIN levels, the percentage decreases, but also the number of people that are included in that percentage increases. And I'll give you an example. There's a thing that Amway has, some kind of a global income initiative or something like that, they call it. And what they do is, if you're at a certain level, and I don't know what it is, it's probably at least double diamond or more, when you're really up there in the stratosphere of Amway distributor levels, then what they'll do is they'll give you like 1/4 or 0.5% of the worldwide volume. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're talking about 1 million distributors and the volume of $8 billion a year, and 1/4% of that, I would take it. It's actually a pretty good chunk of money. I didn't do the math before the show, but I don't think you would turn down 1/4% of $8 billion, right? That's so it's kind of like they do pay unlimited levels, but it's not like it's the same percentages that it was early on in the game. But yeah, again, it's just another place where Tim was misspeaking as far as how MLMs work. And I'm not saying all MLMs have that kind of a payout plan, but Amway does. So any comments on that, Glenn?
Yeah, I think it's just more sort of cherry picked. For his example, he will look at every single possible business, and then he'll find the business that he can best distort the information. Everything. Yep. He doesn't talk off the top of his head. He puts a lot of thought into every single thing that he says.
Yeah, and there's a reason why he blocked me from making comments on his YouTube a couple years ago, and actually removed my comments and refused to respond to my emails, challenging him to come on this show, because I think he knows that I know the right questions to ask. Unlike Spencer Cornelia, he doesn't. Spencer just doesn't know as much about MLMs, and I've reached out to Spencer and many others over the years, saying, hey, I can help you, become more knowledgeable on what's really going on. It'll help you give better presentations, YouTube videos, and ask the right questions when you do bump into an MLMer, because they have answers for most of the questions, but not for the questions that I ask. So, they look really good. I mean, Tim Sales came off looking pretty good in this video with Spencer Cornelia, unless you knew, the rest of the story, as far as how things really work behind the scenes. So, it's just one of those things of, not just trying to educate individual people, but I'm trying to educate the people that have audiences so that they can alter their presentations a little bit. I don't need them to change them dramatically, but just make sure that they mention, lack of retail sales is an illegal pyramid and tool scams is RICO fraud. And if they just make a 30-second mention of that on every video, I think it would be a lot more effective, rather than staying on the, sort of the conundrum of issues that you can see on YouTube or other social media regarding MLMs. It's just not the stuff that's illegal. It's stuff that's might be disgusting. It might be unethical. It might be immoral, but most of it's not illegal. And unless it's illegal, you're not going to get the regulators. And in my opinion, unless we get the regulators on board, there's just too many young people turning 18 every year. It's like trying to empty an ocean with a spoon. It's just an impossible task, in my opinion. And that's why I think the regulators are the silver bullet, so to speak. But I'm not going to stop trying to educate individuals and people that have influence. I'm kind of one of these all of the above people. I don't know which approach is going to be effective ultimately. So I'm trying everything. That's kind of my perspective. Glenn, any comments about that?
Yeah, Tim Sales, he's rejected some big opportunities. He's rejected Kiki Chanel. I've seen that many different anti-MLM YouTubers that have been saying, come on my show, please. And they just say, he says no. If you want to get Tim Sales, an interview with Tim Sales, I think what you need to do is you need to tell him what questions you're going to ask. You wouldn't be allowed to say that 99.7% of all people in MLMs lose money. It's, it's interesting though. You have a look at Tim Sales. He's got what's he got? He's got 13.2 thousand subscribers, and he's rejecting YouTubers with 317,000 plus subscribers. You wouldn't find many examples on YouTube anywhere where a person with 317,000 is asking a person with 13,000 subscribers and they're saying no. I think if you want to interview Tim Sales, you're going to have to ask him very easy questions, and you're going to have to sit there nodding your head, which is what Spencer did. The only way anyone's going to get an interview with Tim Sales.
Yeah, I mean, I think you either have to have that sort of an agreement on which questions will be asked, or Tim has to think that you don't know enough to ask good questions, and he can snow you, right? He can fool you. I think that's, kind of how Tim takes up interviews. It's one or the other. You might be perfectly right, because it is unusual for someone with less followers to decline getting more exposure, by being on someone's show that has more.
He would have got his highest ever audience on the Kiki Chanel channel, as he would have on the Anti-Bot channel, but he knows that they'll make him look bad and they'll expose what he's saying. So he'll stick to soft interviews with people like Spencer.
Yeah, and I don't even think those people are really knowledgeable either. But apparently either he didn't get an agreement with them, or he thinks they do know too much, even if they don't know as much as I think they should know, to make him look silly. I think for whatever reason, he's declined them.
But those people are very aware that over 99% of people lose money, and you can't really argue with that. How do you respond to that? If 99.7% of people in the business are losing money, that's almost impossible to argue with. So the only